Hi, I'm Doggone. Welcome back to the Utopia Baseball League, Friday, October the 5th, 2018. Same day as the video I just posted, but I wanted to zoom in on something right quick and take a peek at off-season shenanigans. You can see Louisville has been sold to a new owner, Albert Kane, so Gooksta has to deal with a new owner. The effects in the UBL are pretty minimal with having new owners because they can't fire you. GMs can't be fired. We've been talking about it. It'd be fun it'd be kind of fun, to be able to be fired. Kind of. But anyway, at this point, GMs can't be fired. The other thing an owner does, though, is they have a fiscal trait. And some of them are very generous. Some of them are very stingy. Some of them take basically all the profits for themselves and don't leave much for the team. Some of them pour all the profits back into the team. So different owners change things, and they're fun. They're a cool part of OTP. Right now we're in salary arbitration, and the arb period will last for a while. I think we have basically a month to take care of arbitration. Offseason center. Here you can see some of the folks who are projected to be let go, who have not been offered extensions, or at least have not agreed to extensions. And this is kind of the old guys club usually. Al Walker is going to be available this year for the first time since the UBL began. He is 35. His ratings are dropping off, but as you have seen, he's still the man. Denny Hunt is now 37. He had a great year with us last year. He did fantastic for Key West. He had another good year up in for the Las Vegas A's. You see, last year in 2017, he hit somewhere between 338 and 419 with Raleigh and Key West. 2018, he hit 341. He played the full season, 375 at bats. Man, that's ridiculous. He doesn't have home run power, but he is a great contact hitter. Anyway, 37. So you're taking your risks on him, but if he's cheap, he's well worth it. I think Las Vegas got him for $8 million this past year. Durango's available. Lopez. Usually this is where there are a couple of reasons guys are here. One is that they're just not performing, and so you dump them back here. Obviously not the case with Al Walker. The second reason is the Al Walker reason. It's because, well, there are three reasons, I guess. Second reason being you're worried about their age. Denny Hunt, you might pay $8 million for him, and he tanks it this year. His ratings fall off so bad he can't help you. So that's the second reason. You're kind of worried about are they over the hill? Have they got another productive year? What's my cost-benefit rate on hiring an oldster when I could be giving a rookie some at-bats, and some innings, or innings pitched or whatever? So that's a decision you have to make, sort of a decision tree you have to go through. The third reason is basically cost. When somebody gets too expensive, you got to dump them. And sometimes you can even dump them and get them right back, at a much lower cost. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. I'm trying to think of anybody up here that might be the case of. Probably a lot of guys that I just don't know. So there's some guys whose ARB keeps increasing. ARB never goes down, by the way. The ARBs keep increasing. And you just have to dump them if they're outperforming how you think they're going to be, and let their salary reset. Xavier Padilla was on his way to big paydays with us. We traded him to Raleigh. Raleigh released him. I got him back for a minor league contract. And he eventually made it up into our UBL roster last season. He helped us out in the stretch run, hit over 300 for us with over a 400 slugging, and he did extremely well. He came up at the end of the year. His ARB was like $3 million something. I said, nope, no thanks, and I released him. So Xavier Xpad will be available in the minor league free agents if he's not already. But yeah, that's what you have to do sometimes. A guy asks ridiculous money, you just have to say nope and release him. So off-season summary by team. Here's where you can check by WAR, sorted by WAR, who's the winner and the loser this year. So far, nobody has signed anything, I think. I think this must be, sometimes guys have negative WAR, and losing them causes, that's the case. For Raleigh, Bill Gray has retired. He had negative WAR, and so that's immediately put Raleigh at positive WAR, wins above replacement. And Winnipeg, okay, both these guys retired. Second base Bill Gray and reliever Elroy Hollis. 17 games, gave up 4 home runs. Yeah, 17 appearances, 13 innings, 4 home runs, 3 home runs per inning. Yeah, that's not good. He retired, age 36. You look at his stuff; it's really good. His control is good, even now at 36. His 2 pitches are good. But you look at that movement, the fact he gave up 4 home runs in 13 innings, 3 home runs, or home run every 3rd inning, every 3 innings. That's not good. His whip was not good. His opponent average was not good. Winnipeg was a good team. Winnipeg was a UBL Championship Series team. So these are terrible numbers to be on a great team like that. He had a good defense behind him. Probably time for him to retire. I don't know about old Raleigh. Bill Gray. Let's take a look at him. How old was it? Was he old? 35. Yeah. Get about 35 or so. That's when players start retiring. He had great defensive stats, but batting-wise, sub-average, mediocre. And with Raleigh, he got plenty of at-bats. He basically played an entire season with Raleigh. Probably a platoon bat, I'm guessing, and only hit 189 and minus 27 VORP. Yeah, the kind of player that you need to release. So he retired, and you can kind of keep track of the scorecard over here, but don't put too much into it because WAR is a hindsight-focused metric. It looks at what somebody did last year. Of course, it's not predictive. It doesn't. You can't tell what somebody's going to do next year. You just have to use your knowledge and your skills and your insight and your guesswork to determine. Sometimes a team who is at the bottom down here of WAR at the end of the offseason, a team who's down at the bottom, don't count them out. They might not have made moves. They might have dumped some players who had great WAR. But, if they're replacing those players with good players coming up, good young cheap players, they could be fine. So, anyway, so don't live and die by the WAR board here. What else did I want to... Oh, one more thing I wanted to snoop. Let's do some snooping. All transactions. Here's where you can find out what everybody's doing. And right here you can see contracts. You can see Richmond, 1-year contract, 1-year extension, 1 year. Richmond's been signing a bunch of guys to 1-year tic-tac extensions. Madison signed a bullpen guy to a 3-year contract extension, 4.7. That's about 1.5 a year. So, bullpen, $1 million to $1.5 million. That's good. Excuse me. Goodness, allergies. I was fine all week in Tennessee and Gatlinburg. Man, I set foot in Oklahoma, instant allergy problems. My chiropractor, my doctor, my dentist, and who else? I guess that's enough. They all say Oklahoma's the allergy capital of the world. Yep. Texas blows, Kansas sucks. That's what they say. Here's the big news for the offseason, along with Louisville's new owner. Oklahoma Wheat King signed Juan Davila, the other Juan Davila, to a 4-year contract extension for $36 million. Let's go take a look at that. I want to make a quick cut here. And here we are on Juan Davila's contract and status page. You can see this year he made the minimum, but now he's now eligible for ARB. He's got 3 years of service, and any major leaguer with more than 2 years of service is arbitration eligible. And so he was eligible for ARB. His ARB was going to be $10.4 million for next year. What did OU do? He signed him to a 4-year extension under his ARB, but still $9 million a year. That ain't chump change right there. That's serious bucks. First 2 seasons are guaranteed. Seasons 3 and 4, team options. And for you noobs, we have a team option rule. When you offer a player a team option, you have to offer a buyout, and the buyout is 20% of the option amount. I just typically round up, like if I were giving this guy $9 million year contract if he had a $9 million team option year, I'd just probably buy him out at what's 20%? At $2 million. I just rounded up, but $1.8 million would be the UBL mandated team option buyout. And by the way, we have a league policy in place, a house rule. You can't offer a guy $5 million, $5 million, $15 million team option, $15 million team option. We had some incidents where that was abused early in our history. And if your final year option or your last year's options, team options, are significantly above the first year's, then you have to offer a 40% buyout. And I think you'll probably be subject to ridicule and GIF slapping because it's not kosher. You can work OOTP. OOTP can be worked to dump a ton of money into team options and just simply buy out the option. And OOTP allows it, but UBL does not allow it. So don't be a dick. Make an honest effort to offer honest contracts to these fake players. So that's so far the big news of the year. Offseason is Juan Davila's big contract. How'd he do this year? Batting stats. God dang, he had 342 and 500 at-bats. This guy, although he's got a fragile tag, he was solid. Look at that, man. Good night. He was solid. 340. Last year he was 332. The year before 317. Man, this guy, OU, you can see why OU traded Winnipeg for him. This guy, he's good. Not a home run hitter, which is interesting. An outfielder is typically, your corner outfielders is where you want the power. OU took the contact instead, and with that kind of contact, man, who wouldn't? The guy also hit doubles, so he can hit it into the gap, but he's primarily a contact hitter. It's interesting. The conventional wisdom is your corner outfielders, corner infielders are your power. That's your power company, and you want home run power there. But obviously Davila does not have the home run power, but he's got contact all day. Let's see. He doesn't strike out as much as he hits, so that's good. And he's got some speed too. He can steal some bases. 49 bases this year. 49 swipes. That ain't too bad. All right, so that's Juan Davila and history. I'm curious what OU traded to get him. OU traded. He got Jimmy Down, George Johnson, and Paul O'Connor. Okay, Paul O'Connor, the great closer that Winnipeg, that Doe has railed at this offseason because he didn't help him against Madison. Yeah. It's basically Paul O'Connor for Juan Davila. Fascinating. There may have been draft picks involved, but sometimes draft picks don't show up on the trade screen. Did Winnipeg trade to get him? Charleston drafted him, failed to sign him, doubtless because Charleston was an AI team? I don't know. Maybe Dave didn't have the money for him at the time. Then drafted by the Wheat Kings. Traded by the Wheat Kings to the Walleye. And obviously, OU regretted that, and he got him back. So, yeah, Juan Davila. Big news of the day. His big contract. So this is where you can kind of snoop on guys. You can see I bought out Jason Piper's last option year, or his team option year. I'll tell you about that in coming weeks. I'm making a gambit there. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Other big news. We talked about Elroy Hollis and Bill Gray retiring. Howard Alexander voided his last optional. This was a player optional year. And Three Fingers is going to test the open market and see how much he gets in free agency. This guy is good. He is fantastic, in fact. Donovan Jackson also voided his final contract year, his player option year. And so these two guys are going to test the open market. Nathan Schneider and Ramon Garza both executed their final player option years. So this usually happens when a player kind of underperforms and their expected free agency value is less than their team contract. So I don't offer player option years on purpose. I always change them to a team option year. I like to have the control over that. You can see Scoops Horton, Oklahoma executed their team option year for Scoops Horton. You can see Madison voided the team option year of Pedro Perez. Raleigh, a lot of for a buyout of 100,000, 600,000. You see the buyouts here. Madison brought Tommy Morrison back for his final team option year. Yeah, so you can right here you can kind of snoop on guys and see what guys are up to. You can see Raleigh released Billy Jenkins, Kirk Bishop. So you can kind of keep track of who's out there by looking at this league report, major transactions. All right, guys. Louisville sold to Albert Kane. Yeah, Sluggers are fresh off a third place finish this season, next to last place. Yeah. Everything I've touched has turned to gold. Best baseball and I work tirelessly. Oh, whatever. What a douche. I already hate Kane. Yep. I guess that's it. Kimball wants to leave Isotopes. Nobody wants him, though. He signed to a ridiculous contract. 38 years old. Let's go take a look at his contract. I'll be right back after the cut here. And I'm back. Here's Derek Kimball's. Oh, man, it's going to suck for Sean. Look at this. He made $11 million last year. He'll make $12.5 million guaranteed money this year. And then he's got a team option. You can see he's got a 0 buyout. That's not kosher for the team option. But I think the AI must have done this because the Isotopes were sort of between owners for a little while there. He was signed in the 2017 offseason. Yeah, I think this was an AI move. We'll probably enforce a buyout of 20%, $2.6 million on that. In fact, OU may come in here and just change the contract. The commission may come in and just change the terms of the contract to enforce the buyout. Anyway, it's not a major blip up, so it'd be subject to the 20% buyout rather than the 40%. He's on the trading block. He's been on the trading block all year. Nobody wants his overpaid ass, so, yep. Sean's probably going to have to eat his 2019 salary. And, yeah. One thing, by the way, if you end the season with a big chunk of cash, you can only carry over $20 million. Let's say we had $42 million at the end of the year. Key West Parrotheads did. If we had a player like Derek Kimball on our roster, I know it could only carry over $20 million. So I had basically $22 million of monopoly money I could just play with. I would have bought out Kimball's final season. I would have just released him, paid the $12 million hit plus the whatever extra team option buyout amount should have been, which is 2.6. I'd have played the $15.1 million to buy him out because it's money I couldn't have carried over anyway. So anyway, anything else I wanted to look at here? News. Let's go back to the newspaper, league newspaper. Madison. Oh, that's ridiculous. 4 years and we'll pay out $50 million. So the AI-controlled BC Brawlers extended Daryl Rohan's contract. This is big bucks. Let's go snoop at him. Hold on a minute. And we're back after the cut. Daryl Rohan, fragile outfielder. He made $8.7 million last year. He earlier had signed to a six-year contract at 55. He now signed to a 4-year at 50 with a vesting option. 470 plate appearances. Okay, so you noobs, the vesting option basically means if a player meets that many innings pitched or plate appearances, their final year will automatically kick in. And the way to manage that as a GM is to prevent a guy from getting that many plate appearances, 470 plate appearances in this case. This probably is biting some guys in the butt because our contracts were earlier set based on a 120-game season, and now we're up to a 140-game season. So vesting options, look at your players with vesting options if you have them. The AI, for whatever reason, is fond of doing this, and sometimes when you click on extend contract, a player will offer a contract with a vesting option. My rule of thumb, no vesting options. I want it simple. I want team options. Now, you can do a vesting option, I guess, without a buyout. I don't know. We might have to house rule a way to avoid gaming the system with vesting options. But anyway, Daryl Rohan signed to $12.5 million guaranteed contract for 3 years with a vesting option in his final year. Is he worth it? Man, he's got that fragile tag. I would hate to sign somebody to a 3-year contract, to a 3-year guaranteed contract each year who has a fragile tag. I don't know, man. That's tough. But 2018, he did really well. 297. He hit 297 for Vancouver with 10 home runs. He does have some power. Strikes out a bit. But you can see in 2017, he had fewer appearances. He was hurt part of the year. And he's usually hurt. The guy spends a lot of time hurt. He did get 331 at-bats in 2016, 428 in 2015. He was hurt in 2014. Didn't get that many. So, good player when he's not hurt. Let's take a quick look at his history. Here we go. I mean, this is the way players are going to get hurt. 4 weeks for a sprained ankle. 4 weeks for a sprained ankle. 3 to 4 weeks pinched nerve in his neck. Even these one-day things, head injury, 1 day, shoulder strain, 6 days. Even these minor things count towards their injury rating. Broken foot, 3 weeks. Setback, another 2 weeks. So, actually, not another 2 weeks, but who knows. So, this guy's hurt a lot. 6 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, everybody's going to get hurt once in a while. Almost everybody gets hurt once in a while, but you don't want a guy who's constantly getting hurt. So, anyway, that's whoever inherits BC is going to have to deal with Rohan and his contract, and just another thing to work around and manage around. All right, guys, that's all I got. Just wanted to do a quick update and sneak a peek at what's going on around the league. I'll see you next time. Bye.